I blew up my air conditioner, and it was in my passenger seat the next day. I can't feel my fingers anymore. That's not an exaggeration. I'm typing this with the stiff, clumsy movements of a corpse, and my breath is fogging up the screen. I'm wearing 2 pairs of thermal underwear, jeans, 3 sweaters, and a ski jacket, inside my own house. The thermostat on the wall says it's 72 degrees, but I know it's lying. It has to be. Because 3 feet away from me, my air conditioner is watching me, humming. It started at the absolute peak of summer, one of those miserable August nights where the air is thick and wet and sleep is impossible. I woke up around 3 a.m., drenched in sweat, the silence in the room a suffocating blanket. The gentle drone of my window AC unit was gone. I figured it had finally given up the ghost. I stumbled out of bed, ready to curse at a tripped breaker or a busted motor, but when I got to the window, the unit was just gone. The window was still locked from the inside. There was just an empty, rectangular hole where the Kenmore used to be. My first thought was meth heads. Some son of a bitch must have shimmied up the wall and somehow silently wrestled a 50-pound appliance out of my window. I stomped outside in my boxers, flashlight in hand, expecting to find pry marks or footprints. Nothing. Just an empty patch of grass below my bedroom. Fucking hell. I went back inside, furious, already mentally calculating how much a new one would cost. I stalked to the kitchen to get a glass of water, and that's when I heard it. A low, familiar hum. And under it, a soft, dry sound. Click, scrape, click. I froze. The sound was coming from just around the corner. I peered into the kitchen, and there it was, my air conditioner. It was standing in the middle of my linoleum floor, rocking slightly. 2 long, spindly legs had sprouted from its metal underside. They were made of some kind of pale, smooth plastic, like the limbs of an old store mannequin, and they bent at the knees with an unnatural stiffness. They held the unit about 3 feet off the ground, the height of a large dog. Its power cord dragged behind it like a dead tail, not plugged into anything. It turned its front grille toward me. The humming got a fraction louder. Cold, refrigerated air puffed out, washing over my bare legs and raising instant goosebumps. I didn't scream. I think my brain just short-circuited. I stood there, staring at this impossible thing, and this impossible thing just stood there, staring back. After a minute that felt like an hour, I took a cautious step forward. The unit took a scraping step back. I stopped. It stopped. We were in a standoff, me and my rogue appliance. "What the fuck?" I whispered. It didn't answer. It just hummed. The next few days were a kind of Cold War. I tried to just work around it, but it followed me. I'd be on the couch, and I'd hear that awful click-scrape-click as it entered the living room to stand in the corner and blast cold air in my direction. I'm a luthier. I build custom guitars in my garage. It would follow me out there and just stand by my workbench. The constant chill made the wood glue take forever to set. Sawdust would get caught in its icy breath and swirl around the room in little cyclones. I couldn't take it. After a week of this silent, cold torment, I snapped. I waited for it to follow me into the garage. Then I grabbed the heavy tire iron from my trunk. It just stood there, humming, as I walked towards it. I swung. The sound of metal crunching plastic was so satisfying. I beat it until the white casing was a spiderweb of cracks, until the front grille was a mangled wreck pushed deep into its own guts. I left it in a heap of junk on the concrete floor, my chest heaving, a wild, triumphant feeling surging through me. I went to bed that night and slept, really slept, for the first time in a week. When I woke up, the house was freezing. I walked into the kitchen, a knot of dread tightening in my stomach. It was there, standing in the middle of the floor, in the exact same spot it had first appeared. It was pristine, perfect, not a single dent or scratch. The pile of shattered plastic and metal in the garage was gone. That was when the real fear started. This wasn't just some weird, freakish event. This was something else, something that didn't obey the rules. I tried to tell my friend Javi. I had him over for a beer, my teeth chattering the whole time. Javi, you have to look at this. You're going to think I'm insane. I pointed to the unit, which was standing faithfully next to the entertainment center, humming its cold tune. Javi looked, his eyes unfocused for a second, like he was looking through it. Huh, he said, turning back to me. Cool little robot. You get that online? Anyway, did you see the game last night? He didn't see it. Not really. He saw an object, a novelty, and his brain just filed it away and moved on. It was like the thing was hiding in plain sight, projecting a field of absolute normalcy that I was somehow immune to. I was completely alone with it. And now it's winter. The goddamn thing is a curse. A localized, personal ice age that follows me from room to room. My life is a constant losing battle against the cold. Coffee is lukewarm by the time I walk from the kitchen to my desk. A hot shower feels like a distant memory, the steam turning to a chilling mist the second I step out of the stall. I sleep under a mountain of blankets and still wake up with my muscles aching from the deep, penetrating cold. I've tried everything. I drove it out to the old quarry and threw it off the 100-foot cliff into the water. When I climbed back up to my truck, it was sitting in the passenger seat, dripping and humming. I tried to sell it for scrap, but the guy at the yard just looked at it, then at me and said, "We don't take those," with a finality that brooked no argument. I'm losing my mind. The constant hum is the soundtrack to my life. The cold has seeped past my skin and into my bones. Sometimes I think it's feeding on my warmth, on my life. I feel slower, more tired every day. It's standing about 3 feet away from me right now. It hasn't moved in an hour. It just hums and waits. What does it want from me? Why won't it leave me alone? I don't know what to do anymore. I'm so tired of being cold. I just want to be warm again.